So the cool thing about the toolbar is that Reaper gives you 32 toolbars. So 32 regular toolbars, and then they give you 16 MIDI toolbars. So in addition to the main toolbar, there's an additional 32. So technically 33 regular toolbars and 16 MIDI toolbars. And what I'm going to talk about is the way I use it. So I've mentioned earlier in the series about the fact that I have a lot of plugins. Let's look at that real quick while I'm talking. So I have a lot of plugins, and because of that, I tend to forget the name of a specific plugin that I'm looking for. I used FL Studio, and FL Studio had a feature where the plugins can pop up in a plugin picker where it is very visual. So that's one of the ways that I use the toolbars. I use about 15 to 16 of them just for that. So for me, it's Control Shift, and then I go through 1 through 9. So 1, we got synths. 2, we have my creativity tool, so it'll help me mangle a sound. And then we go to 3. These are all my pads, atmosphere, and texture instruments. These are on 4. These are all my keyboard instruments. So one thing you need to definitely be familiar with is, of course, the extensions menu right here. We go to SWS/SNM. That menu and go down to resources. So the resources window is very important, and we're gonna basically alter a text file that's gonna give you more slots. So you're not gonna run out of spots to add your VST as a track template. So let's get into the alteration. So first, with Reaper, they have under the options menu, you can go all the way down, and there is this option that says show Reaper resource path in Explorer, which is the file explorer on Windows, /Finder, which is the file explorer on a Mac. So when you hit that, it's gonna basically open that main folder where Reaper is installed, and you will find just about all the important installation files and folders for your Reaper installation. So first we're gonna go in and we're going to edit this file right here, which is the S&M ini file, INI file. I'm gonna create a new folder in here. I'm gonna call it ini edit. It shouldn't ruin anything. And I'm gonna copy this file, the S&M file. I'm gonna copy it and I'm going to paste it in here. I'm gonna rename it and just put edit at the end of the name. Make sure you do not change the extension. It needs to be a .ini file. So we're gonna open this one in the note editor, just so that you don't accidentally screw anything up and you don't have something to go back to if you do. With this open, what you're gonna search, so edit in the notepad and go to find, Control F. And we're gonna type in the word max underscore and hit enter. And it's gonna highlight down here where it says max slots. And if you notice, mine is changed to 999 slots. So I say do 999 for now. Then also you're gonna search import. So clear that out and then type in import, hit enter, and it's gonna highlight import down here. And right here it says add TR template, which is track template equal 999. And this is basically telling it once again how many slots. So once you make sure those two things are altered, you're going to hit file and hit save. Let's clear this, close this out, and then you're gonna go to file and go to save. Then you can change this back to snm.ini, and you're going to copy it and paste it back in the main Reaper folder where the original INI file is, and have it replace this one. Once you restart Reaper and you go to extensions and you go to that SWS menu and go to resources, you will now have way more slots. So it's important that you do that if you want to have lots of slots. Now this is only for VST instruments. For the VST effects, it's a little bit different. It's actually a little bit easier, and we'll do that after, but let's deal with the difficult one first. There are a couple of VST instruments that I downloaded that I do not have added to my window. So one is the Trias player, another one is drum tracks, and then we're gonna get to this effect afterwards and show you how to set up the effect. Analog Obsessions Attractor. Now, this requires another program. Photoscape X, it is free. You can download it from their website, Google it, or you can download it within the Windows Store. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have this plugin open, and we're gonna switch back to Photoscape X. I'm going to Tools, using Screen Capture, and I specifically use Capture Window. When you use Capture Window, it will capture whatever window you're hovering over before you click. That just makes it easier so you don't have to lasso over a window. You just click on this window, it'll recognize that it is a window and it'll just capture that window. So what I usually do, hit crop, and then I would crop out this top piece, the Reaper wrapper. So we just seen the plugin, hit enter. So now we're just looking at the plugin. I hit resize, leave it to preserve the aspect ratio. Make sure that's checked right there. And then what you do is I will usually affect just the height. So let's say I want the height to be about 75 pixels. And once you hit enter, it's gonna resize everything proportionately. So I just typing the height and it already does the width to proportion. So then I usually click on this, Control C, Control V to copy and paste, move this over to the right, and I will explain why in a minute. Then that's when you go to put the name in. I can just copy the name from the track in Reaper, paste it in, and then I have to click on a blank spot away from the text and then copy, paste, drag that over here. And then I'll highlight the text in the middle again, because that's the only editable text. And I will type in the word load. So the reason why you have to set it up like this is that when you go to the icons in Reaper, if you notice, you get a visual response to you hovering over them. The reason why is when they're in their state, just sitting there, it's this part of the image. And then when you hover, you're looking at this part of the image. And then when you click and it's active, then you're looking at this part of the image. So the whole image needs to have these three sections. So for this program, it's only looking at what's in the middle, and everything outside is actually outside the canvas. So when you hit Control S to save, it's gonna ask you, do you want to enlarge in the actual full thing? Meaning, do you want to save everything, or do you just want to save what's in the middle, which is the actual canvas? So I usually say yes, because I want it to be the whole thing. Let's look at this real quick. So in Reaper, once again, go to Options, go to Show Reaper Resource Path. In this folder, there's a folder called Data. Go to the Data folder. And then in here, we have the Toolbar Icons folder. This is where you're going to be putting all those image files that we're going to save. What I did was I saved a shortcut outside here. So you can drag this over to your quick access section in the Windows File Explorer, because you're going to need to get to this folder a lot. That's just a quick note. So let's go back to saving. So when I hit save as, it's going to save it as a PNG. I don't have to browse to that folder. I just come over here and hit my quick access shortcut. So now I am in the toolbar icon folder where I need to save this file. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to name it based on the plugin, and I usually put _TN at the end for thumbnail. This whole folder gets saved when you back up your configuration file, so you never have to do this again. Hit save, and now it's saved. So we just created the icon, and I'm going to now save this track as a track template. Now, before you save the track template, I usually like to make sure that it's already armed. And then if you want, you can go in and choose a preset. So this preset is fine. And that's the way it's gonna load. Right click here, and then go right here where it says save track as track template. I'm gonna give it a name, Trias Player, hit save. So now we have to open that resource window. So we're gonna go extensions, go to the SWS menu, go to resources, and we're gonna put it at slot 193. It's important that you remember what slot you're putting it in. You can leave this window open if you want. So you're gonna right click on that slot and go to load slot/file. Select that. So we're loading the Trias Player track template that we just saved. Once you load that, hit open. It's gonna load it here in slot 193. Now is where you have to open. I'm gonna right click up here by the toolbar and go to open toolbar. I need the toolbar that has my drum plugins. So I'm gonna put this right around here. So right click and go to customize, and then we're gonna get this window. I'm gonna highlight right here and it'll show me and highlight because I wanna put it in between these two. So right under the separator, I'm gonna add another separator. So I'm gonna right click, insert separator. At the bottom separator, I'm gonna right click and hit insert action. It will insert the action in between the two separators. So when I go to insert action, all I have to do is type in import 193, and it's gonna single out the option for me to import whatever is in slot 193, which is the track template for the Trias Player. So I double click on that and it loads that. So this is basically an action to load that track template, which is in 193, slot 193, which is the track template for the Trias Player. So essentially it's just giving me a quick way to load a track template. So now I would usually double click on this and go to set tooltip, which is me just basically giving it the name that it is, Trias Player, to make it cleaner and simpler. Then I would double click again, go to set icon. Then I would search in here for Trias Player, and the icon that we created with Photoscape X will now appear here. So I click on that once, I hit apply, or I could just hit OK. The window goes away, and now if you look, you see Trias Player is now here. With nothing selected here, if I just click on this, it will load the Trias Player. So that's basically step by step how I create this. So it's a little bit different with the effects. You're not going to be doing the resource window. You just have to open your plugin effect browser, and I'm going to search for the effect, which is called Attractor. Then you right click on it, hit create shortcut, and hit escape, and that's it. So there down here I have all my transient shapers here. So we're going to right click, go to customize toolbar. Sorry, let's stick it between Diablo. So I'm going to scroll down and we'll see Diablo is highlighted. Right click, insert separator, right click, insert action. Now all I have to do is type in Attractor. Then everything else is pretty much the same. I'm gonna change the name of it, hit enter. I'm gonna double click on the action that's set there, and I'm gonna set an icon. Paste in Attractor, and there's the icon we just created. Select it, hit OK, and now my window pops up and Attractor is right here. That's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Check back next week as we continue this journey, 52 weeks of Reaper. Thanks for watching, and as always, you'll see me in the next video.